Hi, I wanted to go over some instructions here for the Pallid Sturgeon article for folks to look at. So our learning intention on this one, we're learning about how organisms reproduce so we can understand the best ways to make sure they exist to support the ecosystem in the future. Success criteria, I'll be successful when I can scan for keywords and define them to get a better understanding of what they mean, and I can determine why a species has been listed as endangered and what is being done to help it recover its population. So again, going back into why studying these animals would be important, we're trying to figure out, what role do they play in the environment? How can we help preserve them so that they'll maintain that role? So before you even start looking at the article, I want you to answer this prediction question. What do you think would be the impact on rivers in the United States if there were suddenly no fish in them at all? How would it affect people in the natural environment? Again, just give me your best guess as to what you think would happen under those circumstances. Then we're going to use our class textbook, which, just to give a reference for that one, it's this one, 7th edition zoology. It's this one with cheetahs on the cover. In that textbook, you are going to be going to page 305. The article is just on that one single page. Once you find the article, I want you to scan the article for 3 words you do not already know or 3 words that you think are important to the article. Again, write all 3 of those terms out below here on 2, 3, and 4. And then I want you to look up a definition for each one, but then I want you to rephrase it in your own words. Basically, try to make it simple enough in terms of the definition that the average person could understand it, that all of us in class can understand it, and we will try to discuss those terms together to get a better shared understanding of them. So after you finish with getting those words together, you can actually go ahead and read the article and then answer these comprehension questions that are related to it. So the classification section of the article mentions that the pallid sturgeon is in the class Osteichthyes. Does this make it a jawless fish, cartilaginous fish, or a bony fish? Think back to what we've covered so far with our different fish classifications and what the osti in Osteichthyes means. Ichthyes, of course, means fish. So tell me which of those 3 categories it belongs to. 6, what rivers is the pallid sturgeon native to? Again, there is both some written context there, but there's also a range map given in that article that you can use as a reference. 7, look at the map in box figure 18.1. Do any of the pallid sturgeon's native rivers border Kansas? Again, make sure that you can identify it because Kansas is not explicitly stated on that map, but as long as you kind of know the shape of the state and you can kind of reference where Missouri is relative to Kansas, you should be able to determine the answer here for number 7. 8, what is the function of the pallid sturgeon's barbels, the whisker-like structures you can see in the box in figure 18.2? So again, these are structures that kind of hang down from their mouth, or kind of close to the mouth anyway. 9, what year was the pallid sturgeon added to the federal endangered species list? So again, this gives you some context for when this happened. 10, what is one of the reasons the article mentions that the population of pallid sturgeon is decreasing? So again, we want to know what's the root cause here. Why are they starting to die off? 11, what is one of the methods being used to help the population of the pallid sturgeon recover? So again, what are we doing to kind of help bolster their numbers? Then for our last 2 questions, we're going to be using a link that I've included here in the article. One of the recorded sightings of a young individual pallid sturgeon mentioned in the article was from 1998. Look at this more current link related to this species found through the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's website. So again, when I click on the link there, it'll take me to this. So again, this is U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and this is their little entry on the pallid sturgeon. I want to know, based on the information you can find there, is the pallid sturgeon still considered endangered based on the information on that website? Another thing related to the info on that website, the reproductive strategy section on that link mentions that in the wild, specimens of female pallid sturgeon reach their first stage of reproduction at 15 to 20 years, and males reach their first stage of reproduction at 5 years. Why would this make repopulation difficult for this species? Think about if you were in charge of a breeding program for them and you knew that this was part of the parameters of this species' natural history. Why would that make it more difficult to start a repopulation project? So again, should be pretty straightforward. The article itself is fairly short, and even though there's some technical terms in it, looking up some of those terms should help you understand the article a little bit better. So I hope that you find it an interesting read, and learn a little bit more about how to help endangered fish.